Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome, one and all, to Singapore International Dynamic Speakers, or in short, SGI Dynamic Speakers. I'm Alicia Chia, and I'm your SAA for tonight. And tonight's theme is First Class Notices. Now, before we start our meeting today, I would just like to let everyone know that we love to see your beautiful faces or handsome faces. So do tune on your video for all of us to see. But if you are shy and need to switch off your video because of work purposes, feel free to switch off your video. And the stop video can be found right at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Otherwise, continue to show us your lovely smiles. And without much ado, I would like to hand over to our Toastmaster of the day, Asmina. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Alicia. Thanks for giving a nice introduction. Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure to serve you today as Toastmaster of the meeting. Today's theme is first, how to develop first-class noticing skills. So in order to develop first-class noticing skills, you need to pay attention on your subject and keep everything interesting, always looking for facts and figures. Change your approach, allow different paths and elements, observe for long duration for 5-10 minutes, pay attention to short stories, look for patterns and connections, always write down the findings, don't judge, be open-minded, and use all your senses. With this, I will ask Mr. President Willie Lowe to say a few words. Before, Mr. Willie Lowe is an organizational catalyst of change, a person who can make changes happen, and inspiring and influencing others. He has returned to Toastmasters in 2018 after leaving Toastmasters for 12 years to make changes to the Toastmasters community in Singapore online. He went to set up a first 100% online Toastmasters club in November 2019. So I may ask Mr. Willie Lowe to give some opening speech. Yes, Mr. Willie Lowe.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmaster, let me bring you back what happened 1 year, 365 days ago for today. I started a Toastmaster club with objection for many Toastmasters in this part of the world, as online is not for them. 1 month later, the COVID struck the first country, China. It eventually spread throughout the whole world. And online started for everyone in the whole world starting February 2020. Because since COVID is infectious, we cannot meet in person, so we have to meet online. So Toastmasters around the world are forced to meet online, like what you have. As compared to Singapore online, our own name was called Singapore International Online English Toastmaster Club. We was a 100% online club, and we are not in any district. We are undistricted. Many Toastmasters have rejected the idea of presenting online because they are used to present in person. 1 year down the road, this member of this club has learned how to present online in a virtual environment, which they are not familiar in the first place. Like what many Toastmasters out there, they met with resistance. This April, we conduct the first online topic workshop that generate many viewers throughout the whole world, attract many attention. And we have grew 30 new members within 2 weeks after the workshop. We have even reached president distribution status with 7 months after charter, which we chartered in November 2019, and we are already a president distribution club. In the new Toastmaster Club that started on 1st of July 2020, we have reached president distribution club status within 4 months. Thank you, members and club officers who will make it, especially to Vice President and Education Alicia for coming out with a lot of engagement message to the member. In October 2020, we have rebranded ourselves as Singapore International Dynamic Speaker to make a Toastmaster Club meeting more member engagement, dynamic, and vibrant. The perseverance of setting up and running a club have paid off, although we are just in the first 365 days of the first year. We have just started our second year, starting for tomorrow, where there's more good things to be done. Not only that, we are identified future leaders to lead this dynamic and vibrant club. Let me give you 3 quotes that will lead us to the next 8 months. Commit to improving your skill as a first-time noticer for you. Build or possess and attract people around you to career ability, motivated, brightness, and any conflicts of interest to change your mind. Do it with intention. I build a process. We attract people. We got talent, but many people out there, but we stand on our foot. And we try to focus on what we are doing, providing a platform for people to practice their public speaking and overcome the fear of speaking for those who are new to Toastmasters. As not important, most important, you must have a growth mindset that reinvent yourself a regular way of life. If not, you will, instead of going up, it's not a good way to be stagnant. It's better to go up and down around the way. So fellow Toastmaster, be a first notices. Over back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Willilo. Thanks for letting us know how your journey went through and how you have started Singapore Online Club. Now we move on to the timer. Mr. Timer, Mr. Chang Jin Lim, could you please let us know, could you please explain your role today? Mr. Timer.
Yes. Hello.
Is he present?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm present. Can you hear me? My purpose is to measure how long each member speak for each of the portion.
Is Mr. Timer here?
Yes, I'm here.
Could you please explain your role?
Yeah, the purpose of my role is to record and track how long each member speak for each of the different segments.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Timer. Now I would call Miss Lee Buckley to introduce herself And so Lee Buckley, she loves traveling and meeting people. Thanks to the survey communication technologies these days, she was able to zoom around the world meeting and making new friends from the comfort of her home. Now I would call Mr. Lee Buckley to say a few words about her role. Ms. Lee Buckley.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as the grammarian is to note effective and ineffective use of the English language. This includes any grammatical errors, jargons, and colloquial words, as well as use of rhetorical devices and notable phrases. My other role tonight as well is to introduce the word of the day. Let me share the word of the day on the screen with you. The word of the day for tonight's meeting is prudent. It's an adjective. It means acting with care and showing thought for the future. Also, being sensible and careful when making judgments and decisions whilst avoiding unnecessary risks. An example of the usage of prudent is it is prudent that we get a second opinion before proceeding with the decision. I will be noting all the, again, as I mentioned earlier, effective and ineffective usage of the English language as well as the word of the day. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Ms. Lee Buckley. Now I would invite our counter, Kore Milani. Could you please explain your role, Mr. Kore Milani?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sound that is used as a crutch of or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the numbers of the times that each speaker used this expression. So I hope each speaker will be prudent in using their sentence and speech tonight. Back to you.
Thank you, Ms. Kore
Madam
Milani.
Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Ms. Kore Milani. Now we are entering our table topic segment. We are going to practice impromptu speech style. It's going to run by table topic master. So today our table topic master is Ahmed Noor Hashim. Ahmed Noor Hashim likes to read novels, empower others, watch TED Talks, playing with his children at the weekend. He believes that leadership is action, not position. Now I would invite Mr. Ahmed Hashim to take up his role. Mr. Ahmed Hashim.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. One of the most exciting portion of the Toastmaster meeting is table topic session. The main objective is to challenge you to develop their impromptu communication skill to effectively think on their feet by answering unrehearsed questions. We also want to give every member to use the opportunity to speak impromptu without preparation. Ladies and gentlemen, I can share. Can I start the topic master? Or only introduction? Sorry. I prepared many sentences that can drive you to speech, impromptu speech. Our topic today is celebration of our club. We are celebrating the first anniversary dynamic Singapore online. First step, I invite member to join in this session. I will read the rule. The 1 minute timer will shine green. The 1.5 minute, the timer will shine yellow. And 2 minutes, the timer will shine red. And you will be disqualified if you speak more than 2.30 seconds. And then I invite you to be first in the segment. Are you ready? Anyone can be the first speaker on double topic master. How many people? Okay. Naga, are you ready?
Okay.
What
Yeah.
is number?
Number 5.
5. The double topic number 5. Life is short. Where you wear your party pants. Loretta La Roche. Over to you.
Thank you, table topic master, for giving me this chance to talk. A good day to all the virtual audience, fellow guests, and Toastmasters. The topic I'm going given is life is short. Wear your party pants. How apt the topic is, audience. Isn't it true? At current times, we are feeling it. We never thought that this current virus pandemic will cause that. We were all taking life easy, thought that nothing would trouble us. However, suddenly, without expectation, like a storm, the virus pandemic came and took over us. As now we realize, isn't it? Life is short. We should wear the party pants. Well, we being prudent in this Toastmaster Club of SGI, we started off with online meeting, and good enough we were all, because we were all other Toastmaster Club were forced into it to come online. However, the prudence of our chairman made this, because he realized life is short, wear your pants party early, and we went online, and we now become so familiar, and we already completed the first year, and we're going to second year. And this gives me this opportunity to join you all and have this fun joy of being with y'all, conversing, connecting, and communicating, and become a better person to know people all around the world. Thank you. Back to the table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naga. Yes, we will face a second year of pandemic. And in the past, we never thought that the pandemic will longer. Okay, thank you. And so we need to use all of the time to full meaning of our life. Thank you. I written the page. Will be second speaker in the segment. If there is no one, I point you. Corey, are you ready to be the second speaker in the segment?
Thank you, table topic master. Okay, I will join, although I'm a counter.
Please choose.
I will choose table topic number 1.
Number 1. Celebrate your life. You are your own light. Celebrate your life. You are your own light. Lailah Gifty Akita. Lailah is a young activist from Uganda. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmad. I remember last time when I was younger, in my 20s, I always like to make every decision hastily. I was quite fearless and doesn't think much in what I'm doing. I just take decision as fast as possible. Whatever cross my mind, I'll just do it. But when I'm getting older, as now I'm in my 30s, given a lot of life experience, now I'm being more prudent and being wise of my decision. But as well, I also try to celebrate my life as much as possible. Given my younger days, I take the decision very fast and then also celebrating more by hang out with friends more and then doing a lot of activities. Compared to today, I'm more prudent and being wise in what activity I should choose for the weekend or what activities I should choose to invest my time inside it. If I were to recall every weekend, that's the time that I have to celebrate life more compared to the weekdays, because of the weekdays, normally my working schedule is so packed and so busy. So at the end of the day, normally I will feel tired and just want to rest. So in the weekend, normally, how do I celebrate my life is to look for a good coffee around Singapore. I will try to search which one is the good cafe, can just chill down and relax. Also, I would love to try a different type of coffee. So recently, I found there is a very good coffee, which is a butterscotch coffee I found in Jalan Besar. When I first drink the butterscotch coffee, wow, I feel so heaven. It's really the moment that I feel this is how the life is supposed to be celebrated. The coffee given me so much happiness, and also the taste of the sweetness giving me the feeling that, yeah, this is how the weekend also supposed to be celebrated. So yeah, that's my story about how I celebrate my life, mostly on the weekend, but I will try as much also to spend a bit of time to celebrate my life on the weekdays by resting and also try to look around in Singapore, trying a new experience. Thank you. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Corey, for your sharing about how do you celebrate every week at weekend by drinking coffee. And yeah, maybe I drink coffee when I have a big project and I need to finish the project at the night. Okay, thank you. We can back to the first page. Who will be next speaker?
I can take the topic. I can
Okay,
take the topic.
Azmina, please choose the topic.
Number 7.
7. Oh, it is good quotation from Nelson Mandela, the farmer of
Says,
President South Africa. Remember to celebrate milestone as you prepare for the road ahead. Remember to celebrate milestones as you prepare for the road ahead. Over to you, Azmina.
So by this, I mean that each day each day is a new day, and we celebrate whatever good things come in our life. And in order to prepare for road ahead, we have to first understand what are our goals, and then we have to note down our goals, and then accordingly, whenever we achieve even a single step, single goal, then we have to celebrate it, which will keep us moving ahead. And we have to prepare ourselves, and also to look back what you have done previously. So if we have goal to achieve if we have goal to achieve some points in school or university, or achieve some sales, then every day we will go towards the goal. We will do we will take some steps forward, and eventually we will celebrate it, and eventually we will achieve it. And we have to keep record, and everything should be it will keep us going. Thank you.
Thank you, Azmina, for sharing your experience in the past, and I hope you always celebrate your milestone. Like today, we are celebrating our milestone SGI dynamic in the first anniversary, and we hope we will celebrate next year, and next year. Thank you. And Edward, are you ready to be the next speaker in this segment?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please choose the topic.
Number 9.
9. Celebration and laughter are two of the richest gifts of life. Celebration and laughter are two of the richest gifts of life. I mean, like Merker. Over to you, Edward.
There is nothing more precious than the gift of laughter. It is the best gift you can give to someone. Mr. President, Toastmaster of the Evening, Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We must take time out to give the gift of laughter to everyone we come in contact with. We do not know what type of day they are having, what burdens are on their shoulder, but if we take the time out to make someone smile, to make someone laugh, we brighten up their day. We give them new energy. And it is important for all of us to remember, people may forget what you did, what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. No matter who you come in contact with, they may even forget your name, but if you made them feel good, you made them laugh, they will never forget you. They will see you and they will recognize you immediately because you gave them the precious gift of laughter. That is the most precious gift you can give to anyone. A simple compliment. You have a beautiful smile. I love your dress. That's a nice shirt. You make someone feel good about themselves. They smile, they laugh. They are forever gracious to you. I remember my eldest being in preschool, and we had a graduation for the preschool class when they graduated and were moving on to elementary school. And we all had a big party for them. That taught the kids that if they work hard and they achieve their milestone, they move on to another grade, they will be rewarded. And everyone from that preschool class is now doing wonderfully in school because they are celebrated every time they achieve a milestone. They get gifts, they get prizes, and they feel good about their accomplishment. So when we celebrate our milestones, another step we took in the path of life, and we give someone the gift of laughter, we are giving them the most precious gift in life. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Mr. Edward, for sharing about your experience in your when you was kids. And I back in the first page. I invite Toastmaster Ashok. Oh, are you ready to join this segment?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please choose the topic number.
Can I actually just talk without the video? Is that okay?
Okay. Yes.
It's quite late here, and I'm actually in my bed, so I'll choose number 18.
18. Okay. I don't know if money is something to really celebrate. I don't know if money is something to really celebrate. Clayton Kershaw. Over to you.
Okay. I don't know if money is something to really celebrate. I think there are many things to celebrate in life. But I was thinking before that money is important to do something, can be a vehicle to make myself happy and make others happy as well. For example, if you want to celebrate something and you want to buy, say, for example, like a flower or a gift, money is required. And the more gifts you give to people, the more spoiled they get. And sometimes because you want to make them happy, and you just chase money sometimes. But after a long experience, it's not everything. You can actually celebrate without money. You can go to a park. I experienced recently during pandemic, because all the shops were closed and the restaurants were closed. So basically you had money and you had time, but there was no money to spend on anywhere else. So I started going to park with friends, and there were a lot of laughters, and we didn't need money at all. So money and celebration can be related, but it's not directly related. You can be happy and you can celebrate life without money. So it's a big lessons learned during the pandemic that I find that money can be important and you can use it wisely, but you can celebrate without money. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Interesting. Thank you, Toastmaster. What called? Elsho. Yeah, sometime. At the moment, we can celebrate without money. We celebrate our club by Zoom. There is no money, there is no cost, and we can celebrate happily. Thank you. And I invite participant Angela Soe. Are you ready to join in this segment?
Hi, yes, I'm ready to join.
Okay, if you are ready, please choose the topic number.
Sure. I'll choose topic number 11.
Oh, instead of hate, celebrate. Instead of hate, celebrate. Prince. Prince is author from United States.
Thank you, Table Master. Well, I couldn't really see the timer from my screen. So if it's overtime, please let me know. Raise your hand or something. I only can see the Table Master now. And after COVID-19, I've tried a lot of things. I'm a housewife, but my plan was go back to work, and especially I want to go back to do my dream job, like set up my business and trying online selling, but all failed. So I was feel very frustrating, and environment around me also. So many people are feel frustrated. I can feel that. And many dramatic things happen. And I sent out my CV, and I finally got one company wants to work with me, and I start to work, but I was overexcited and I was very aggressive, and they found out I'm not very fit for their company. So yesterday, just I got off from the work again. So it was another drama for me, and it was another sadness. But just like what you say, instead of hate, I'm trying to celebrate it, and I'm trying to find the lesson from that. And I think finally I can do it. So I'm happy about it. I'm trying to learn from it. Still a lot of drama things happen in my life, but I'm just trying to celebrate it. And I read a lot of books, and probably this is the sign I need to go back to what I need to do. So, well, I should try what I originally want to do. So, well, wish me good luck. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster. What is the name?
Angela.
Angela, for the sharing. Yeah, sometimes we need to reflect our life and our activity in the past to celebrate what is something that we reach. And we have time enough. I invite Toastmaster Thomas. Are you ready, Mr. Thomas? In the master.
Is number 3 available?
3.
Yes.
Available.
Give me a moment.
Ini I think it's suitable for celebrate every success, but don't forget to enjoy the scar of failures.
All right, amazing day, ladies and gentlemen. We all know success and failure come hand in hand. Even some of the most successful people in the world, for example, Thomas Edison, he failed many times before he's able to create that amazing light bulb itself. And this is the reason why, because with each success, we must remember that it is built on a power of failure itself. When we remember that, it is when we will not be overconfident, we will not be over prideful, and we will not be overly too focused on ourselves. Because at the end of the day, without all these failures, without all this tweaking, we will not be able to learn. And as humans, we are all imperfect. But it is because of this imperfection that we constantly strive to be better, that we constantly strive to be stronger and smarter. So ladies and gentlemen, in our life itself, feel free to celebrate success. Even the smaller success, celebrate it, because it will keep us motivated and it will keep us inspired. But do not remember that we are all vulnerable humans, that we are all open to failure itself. And that is how we can stay grounded, and that is how we can continue to work harder forward. So ladies and gentlemen, be it in Toastmasters, if you want to be a better speaker, or in work, you want your business to be better, or in family, you want a relationship to be stronger, every success you have, always remember that there are failures behind it. There are areas that you need to work on. There are improvements you need to look into. And when you do that, you will understand that at the end of the day, we are all humans. We are all open to failure, and we should strive to become constantly better. And that's how we can live our life to the fullest, by building success on top of failures. Thank you, and back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas. Amazing speech. We need to celebrate small success to energize and to reach bigger success in the future. Thank you. I invite our VPE, Alicia. Are you ready to join this section?
Yes, I'm ready. Can I select number 4?
4.
Where's the timer?
Okay. What life expects of us is that we celebrate. What life expects of us is that we celebrate. Josh Eduardo Aguilucha. Over to you, Alice.
A very good evening to club president, to members, and to our guests. I've got this topic, what life expects of us is that we celebrate, by Jose Eduardo Aguilucha. Of course, life expects us to celebrate. What is more exciting than to celebrate? In fact, I did not celebrate for a long time during the whole year when we had circuit breaker. But finally, I've come to the month of November where I expect to celebrate. And it's because November is my birthday, and it's also our dear club SGI Dynamic Speakers and first anniversary. So of course we have to celebrate. We can't be moaning. And year end is time to celebrate after a tough year. And in fact, I do not even celebrate my birthday for one day. I had a week long or weeks long, or rather say, I stretch it to month long, in order to accommodate all my friends, family, and relatives. So don't think that celebration, you only have it for one day, but you can extend it. That's why whenever I send birthday messages to friends, I always tell them, enjoy your week-long celebrations in case I miss their birthday. So it's belated and still they can celebrate many days ahead. Is it fair for us to celebrate? Of course it's fair. As I mentioned, you suffer so much, it's time to enjoy. And usually we leave it to the end of the year. That's where we have worked so hard. We need the break and to recharge our bodies. By celebrating, we allow ourselves time to recuperate and remember that we do, how should I put it? We deserve to celebrate. So back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alicia. When we celebrate something, we usually evaluate that we did in the past and we need to improve our achievement based on our evaluation. Thank you. And I invite Miss Lee Buckley. Are you ready to speak in the session?
Sure, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Please.
I'll leave my choice in your good hand. I'm sure you will be very prudent in selecting the topic for me.
Okay, last one. Okay, every time I scored, I celebrate like the kid I was playing in the park. Run Kirby. Over to you, Miss Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. This reminded me of the time when I was wee tall, and that wasn't too long ago. Every time I scored a goal, I used to run around the field and celebrate it. It was because I was the shortest player, and to score a goal meant the world to me. As I grew up, I started changing from soccer to badminton. And again, being vertically challenged, I was always positioned in front of the net. And of course, every time when the shuttle comes over and I just smashed it, I celebrated and I ran around the court. People used to think, is she for real? We better be prudent when we put her on court next time. I'm sure there's something wrong with her. I said to people, look, don't be too serious in life. Celebrate, because you never know what is going to happen. And that was exactly what happened to me. I was off playing badminton for 2 years because I injured my shoulder. And it was times like that I felt so down, so disheartened that I thought, if only I had celebrated my successes. As what the previous speaker had said, okay, don't forget to celebrate the scars of failures, because on top of failures, you will build success. So ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, when was the last time you celebrated like a kid? Like when you were 5-year-old running around in the park? Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Miss Lee. Yeah, sometimes you are right. We need to celebrate for achievement because we never know what will be happen in the future. Next year, next 20 years. And we have one, not one timer, we have one speaker before I close the segment. Anyone ready to be the last speaker?
CJ.
Okay, CJ, thank you. Please choose the number of the topic.
I came out. I be the timer.
Okay.
Time yourself too.
I can have you. 15.
Okay, yeah, just choose for me.
Okay. I've never been one to celebrate anniversaries. I've never been one to celebrate anniversaries. Margaret Predu is.
I never been one to celebrate anniversaries. Yes, this is definitely true for me. Because for me, anniversary is any day can be an anniversary. Any day can be a loving day. Any day can be a caring day. As my favorite quote from Maya Angelou, people will forget what you say. People will forget what you did. But people will not forget how you make them feel. For me, my family is the number one thing in my life. So I will spend my time, my quality time with them. And at the same time, I also dedicated myself to Toastmasters because in Toastmaster, we are always learning new things. Every day, we are learning, we are growing, we are improving ourselves. As my favorite quote from Lorenza Snow, be better today than you were yesterday. Be better tomorrow than you are today. So for me, before I went to sleep every day, I must make sure that I am 1% better than yesterday. This shows that over the year, then I will have about 37% increase in my knowledge. For me, I truly value anniversary because I will spend every day celebrate anniversaries. Every day can be anniversary if you believe that you want to spend it positively and truly with your loved ones. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster CG. Your speech is wonderful to remember me that we should celebrate our achievement every day. Maybe we need to celebrate after we finish our job, our special duty, and like Cory, we celebrate our apa ya, our time at the weekend. Yeah. Thank you. Our time is limited and we have to continue our session. So I have to give time to Toastmaster of the day. Please choose the best table topic master in your screen. Thank you for all participants, and I hope you enjoy this section and you can join the similar section next Friday. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Azmina.
With this, we will end the poll. And thank you, Mr. Ahmad Norshim. You have demonstrated your first class notice skills very well. And you have picked each and every topic very prudently and given chance to each and every person to speak and give their views. And all the topics are picked according to our celebration day, which is today. Now we will move on to speeches, the segment of the speech. So our first speaker is Mr. Kanan Sankara. Mr. Kanan Sankara is living in Baltimore, MD with his wife, Janki Kanan, and love to travel. They have son who's studying in Johns Hopkins and started Toastmaster journey late 2012 and would like to improvise the speaking skills. Now I would like to invite the evaluator, Thomas Chen.
Amina is big
好
time.
吃懒做又好色。
Sorry, Madam Toastmaster of the day. It's 10 minutes break at the moment.
Okay, all right.
Can you see whether
We'll
I
take a
am?
10 minutes break now.
Yeah. Standing. Yeah.
Hi, now we will begin prepared speech segment. In this segment, our member will present prepared speeches. So our first speaker is Mr. Kanan Sankara. Mr. Kanan Sankara is living in Baltimore, MD with his wife, Janaki Kanan. He loves to travel. He has a son who's studying in Johns Hopkins, started the Toastmasters journey in late 2012, and would like to improvise the speaking skills. I would let the evaluator, Thomas Chen, to give the objective of his speech. Mr. Thomas Chen.
Sure. So Kanan, the purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. All the best and have fun.
So the topic is it the miracles? Are we ready? So Mr. Kanan Sankara.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Actually, the title I just changed Problems and Miracles because I thought that was appropriate. Please note that. Okay. Fellow Toastmasters, problems. Every one of us have problems. Kanan Shankara want to speak like Toastmaster Lee or Toastmaster Thomas Chen. Somebody wants to plan like our President B. Low. So every one of us have problem. My neighbor thinks that, oh, Kanan Shankara has got this house. He does not know that I have a mortgage on this. Somebody else say, oh, this guy has got a big job. I don't have that. So every one of us feel that other person is enjoying better than us. Fellow Toastmasters, do not feel sad because there is a one in the sky who's controlling us. Maybe it's a nature if you do not believe God. Maybe it is God if you believe in God. Do not feel stressed. Why I have to go through this many problems? Because the problem is in our mind. Just like a knife, can it be sharpened in a piece of velvet cloth? No, it has to be sharpened in a leather or it has to be sharpened on a stone. We have to face problems so that we can be molded better. If you do not have problems, think that there is a football field. If there is no opposition and you are going and putting the goal, what is the fun in that? There should be some challenges, there should be something, and then you have to face that. In what you all know that I love telling stories and I read a lot because I want to be excelling in storytelling. I want to start just telling the story by sharing a story from Zen Buddhism. There was one village, every one of us were feeling sad. Why me? I have only a small house. My neighbor has got a bigger house. I have 3 kids and all the kids are not studying properly, whereas the opposite kid is studying and excelling in all the exams. Why me? Why me? Like this, every one of us are having a problem. There was this Zen monk, who came there to that village. Zen monk asked the villagers, why every one of us are having or not happy? Why you feel so sad? Why can't you be happy? The villagers unanimously said, you do not know. We have problems. Every one of us have problems. With this problem, how anybody can be happy? The Zen monk said, okay, I can clear all your problems. Tomorrow, you can do one thing. Take up a sack and write all your problems and put it onto the sack. All the problems. And take another sack, what you want to get from in this world. Take the problem sack, leave it there, throw it in the river, and keep the needed, I would say needing, what you need, that need task just on the bank of the river. And you all will be happy. The villagers, they do not believe the monk, how everything can vanish in one day. But at the same time, they want to utilize the challenge. They want to think, okay, I will do that because you never know. We are not losing anything. So everyone wrote their problems and put the sack in the river, and they wrote everything, whatever they needed. Next day happened. To everyone's surprise, whatever they needed, big house, happy, lot of cattle, cows, and gold, everyone got everything. Everyone was happy for 5 minutes. And then they saw the neighbor. Aha, I have asked for a chain and I got a chain, but the neighbor's wife asked for a gold necklace. Aha, I missed a lifetime opportunity. I asked for a house, 3-bedroom house. I got a 3-bedroom house, but the neighbor asked for a mansion. He got a mansion. I missed a great opportunity. I should have planned better. So everyone was comparing with their neighbor, and they were feeling once again sad and frustrated. Fellow Toastmasters, they had an opportunity. They got what they want. Still, they feel they are not happy. You know why they are not happy? They are comparing with the neighbor and think that they are not able to get what they want. If you want to be happy, do not mix with the problem. It's a two sides of the coin, happiness and problem. Because the happiness is coming from your internal mind. The mind controls whatever happens. It may control the happiness, it may control your body. I'm going to give one more story. A person like me, morning, get up, had a coffee at 7 o'clock, nice coffee, took bath, and he did an exercise. He was walking to the office happily, and on the front, one of the neighbors asked, "Hey, why you look sick today? There's something problem with you. What happened?" No, I am active. I don't have any problem. Then he walked little about and he caught the train. On the train, some of the people, fellow passengers said, "I'm seeing you always. What happened? Why you are feeling sick?" Fellow Toastmasters, this time, this guy felt that, I am really feeling sick. And then these guys are making up. And then he went to the office. And the office people says, "Hey, what happened to you? Why you are feeling sick today?" Now, that gentleman really started feeling sick. So he applied for a leave and then he came back. Why I'm sharing this? This was a important survey really happened by the University of Boston in collaboration with Harvard University, that your mind control the body. If your mind is very happy, if your mind says that I am very happy, I am going to face any problem, then your mind is tuned to face any problem. You need to be happy, assertive, and confident to address any problem. Then no problem will come to you. You can face this, the problems become challenges and the solutions become opportunities for you to excel. But yet, most of us are feeling, oh, problems. Even a slightest thing, we have problems. In Singapore, one of the family who follows Buddhism, there was happiness that there was one of the women, the family woman, mother, it is her birthday. Nobody told her, nobody wished her, that nobody planned anything. That lady was thinking, oh, my husband is useless. He did not even know that it is my birthday. But she went to the sleep thinking about tomorrow is my birthday. These people did not do anything, but I am going to do something on my own. Fellow Toastmasters, she got up. She got a best surprise. Her husband has arranged for everything. While she was sleeping, he arranged the complete decoration of that bedroom and the hall without making any noise, so that she could not get up. He decorated, and then he presented one of the best dress that she longed for. When she came down with full of happiness, full of energy, when she came down, her daughter, 10-year-old her daughter, prepared a breakfast for her and hold the tray, breakfast tray. She was so delighted. Oh, my family members did not forget me. They are thinking about my birthday. So she went to the Buddhist temple. There they generally light lamps in front of Buddha to pray for the welfare of the family. When they were doing the lighting of the lamp, one spark from the lamp just flew and then dropped on her beautiful dress. So what has happened is the dress got a small hole, black hole, because that spark came and hit on the dress. Fellow Toastmasters, she became so sad. Oh, my husband got a dress today and it has become spoiled. It has become a little bit spoiled. Why it is always happening to me? After that, her husband took her to one of the finest restaurants. He ordered whatever she wanted, whatever she used to like it, but her mind was not on the food, or not on the birthday, not on the family. She was thinking, why it happened to me? Why this spark? Why did it come and hit me? Why it has happened to me? So she was thinking always about that. She could not enjoy any more of her birthday. Fellow Toastmasters, why I'm saying that? We are the same. We are thinking about the small problem and we are not able to enjoy the happiness that is coming in front of us. If we have problem, be confident. As I told you, it is two sides of the problem. We are like painters. We paint our life. If we paint nicely, we get we get what we want. It is our choice to live to live the way we want. One of my friend, he used to travel from New York. Okay, he changes to train and he gets up at 6 o'clock and he reaches the office by 7:30. He has to work from 7:30 until 5:30, and then he needs to go, he needs to get back to her home, he will reach around 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8 to 8:30 because of the traffic. Then he has to prepare for the next day. Even in the office, he has got so stressful life. I used to ask him whenever he complained, why can't you leave this job and take a smaller job so that you can be happy? He would say, no, this job pays me very well. Why I should change the job? So fellow Toastmasters, it is our choice. If we want to enjoy the life the way we want, we can do it. We can't get everything without working hard. Like, let us take the ant philosophy that is described in, I think it is Sufi's book, but I'm not very sure. Ant philosophy is very simple. Think of an ant. All the ants will go in a line, and you just put something, a drop of water, or put something in between the line. They go around, or they just jump on that, they just smell it, and they move around. They overcome any challenges that came in between. It is called ant philosophy. Ant philosophy has got many values. It can overcome any challenges. It can plan for the winter during summer. So during summer, it works extra hours so that they don't have to come out of their nest, and they can be happy thinking about winter. During winter, it enjoys the rewards that they have worked hard, and they patiently wait for the summer to come again. They don't work alone. They work as a team. They are humble. Teamwork is their philosophy. Have you ever seen ant working alone? They always work together. And you think that they are not capable of anything? They can build their nest. If you go to Australia, somewhere in down north and all, the ant nest goes and hives or hopes up to this height. I have seen that much of height. They can do engineering design, one of the wonders. They all work as a team. So if we have the commitment like an ant, if we have the planning like the ant, if we have the hard working like an ant, if we have the teamwork like the ant, if we have the humble humility like an ant, every one of us can be successful. Fellow Toastmasters, once again, do not feel that you are the only having problem. It comes from your inner mind. As I mentioned to you many times, you might have said why Kannan is talking about the inner mind. I'm going to share another story. Have you heard of Rapunzel? Rapunzel was always told, oh, she's ugly. If you do not know that story, I will tell you in 2 minutes about that story. Rapunzel was a beautiful princess. A witch has taken her as a captivity and put her on the top of a building so that nobody can reach. She was a beautiful princess, but every day the witch wanted to make sure that he doesn't want to lose her. She used to say, you are an ugly woman. You are an ugly woman. You are an ugly woman. Why you are with me? Like that. So Rapunzel was not aware. There was no mirror, or there was no any reflection thing in that place. So she was not aware that she's really a beautiful girl. She was told right from the beginning, she is an ugly girl. So she was believing that she was an ugly girl. She was an ugly girl. So it has been tuned to her mind. One day, a prince came on that he was lost in the forest. He saw there was one building alone, a lone building which was there. And so he climbed up to the building. She saw this beautiful princess. She said, so Rapunzel was so beautiful. That was the first time Rapunzel knows that she was really beautiful. Everybody was saying that she was not beautiful, and she was believing that she was not. So then he and she started dating, and then he fought with that witch, and then leave those story. That is not important. Why I am saying is that this is coming from your inner mind. If you started believing that you are ugly, you will be ugly. Same like our English teacher. My English teacher used to say, Kanan, you will never get English in your life because you speak English in a way, in Tamil way. Because I used to speak, my English pronunciation is not good. That's why I joined Toastmaster, to tune my speaking skills, to tune my pronunciation skills, to speak without grammar mistake. That was my goal. If a teacher says continuously, you will not learn English, English will not come to you, English will not come to you, you think that English will not come to you. So fellow Toastmasters, I'm telling you, just before concluding my speech, I want to say every one of us have got problem. Do not worry. Problems and happiness are two sides of the same coin. Be happy. Do not compare with anyone. Do not feel sad. Feel happy for what you have and not sad for what you do not have. If you are happy in your mind, you can definitely be confident and address any problem that you have. So I want to conclude the speech. Do not worry about the problem. Be happy and be successful and be with your family with good health. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Kanan Sankra, for such a great speech. It's true that in order to be happy, we need not to compare ourselves with others. The problems are in our mind, and we have to face the problems to polish ourselves and to take the challenges in everyday life. Now, I would like to invite our second speaker. She is Noriko Tanami, and I would like to say a few words about Noriko Tanami. She didn't like English when she was in high school, but had to start studying it hard because got a job in USA. Time has passed and now teaching English in Nagoya, Japan. This is his second speech of the second project today. I would like to call the evaluator, Ahmed Norshim, to give the objective of her speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Azmina. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to second speech. And the second purpose, this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator, Ahmed Norshim. The speech topic is for Noriko Tanami is, it took 95 years, presentation mastery level 1, mastering fundamentals. Now I would like to call upon Noriko Tanami to start her speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. I once heard, do good, and good will come to you. So, did you do anything good today? I think gratitude and kindness are essential for us. So today, I'd like to share with you heartwarming stories of gratitude and kindness. The first one is an old story. Navy battleship El Turo was built in Turkey in 1863. 25 years later, she started to voyage towards Yokohama, Japan from Istanbul. She had dropped in Singapore and Vietnam before arriving at Yokohama. She was quite an old ship, but had been repaired in London before the voyage. At noon on September 15th, 1890, the El Turo set sail from Yokohama to Istanbul. At the time of departure, the weather conditions were good. But the next morning, a reverse wind began to blow and getting stronger towards evening. She had encountered a typhoon in Japan. Her crews tried to the ship hold up during the storm. Despite all their efforts, it was impossible. As the crew tried to stop the ship before the rocks by emergency anchoring, but the ship hit the reefs and fell apart around midnight on September 18th, 1890. More than 500 sailors and including 50 officers lost their lives. Only 63 sailors and 6 officers survived, but they were injured severely. The Japanese people around the incident area cared for Turkish sailors and officers so kindly. They were ordinary people, not rich. I can say poor people they were, but they had a heart of kindness. And in the same year, that big typhoon hit this area, so they had not stored enough food for themselves, but they fed the Turkish people and cared for them, for their restorations. Thanks for their kindness. 69 Turkish sailors and officers came back alive and could be returned to Turkey. You know, Turkey, it was the Ottoman Empire at the time, was a big country. But Japan was not such a big country. Japan was still small little country. And it is believed that this incident made Turkish people have a good impression of Japan. I have one more story to tell you. It happened 35 years ago. In 1985, the Iran-Iraqi war was about to begin. Iraqi government announced that they would attack all airplanes above Iran after 48 hours. The Japanese people who lived in Iran, such as ambassadors, diplomats, and their families, and so on, were stuck at the Tehran airport in Iran. They had escaped from Iran within 48 hours, but they could not because the Japanese government could not decide on the order to save their citizens by air. It was terribly hopeless for them. Suddenly, 2 airplanes arrived at the airport in Iran and saved 215 Japanese citizens instead of Japanese government. It was amazing because it was only 1 hour before the deadline. Who are they? They were Turkish airplanes. there were no Japanese people who had an idea why Turkish government saved Japanese citizens. But now, my fellow Toastmasters can guess the reason why, don't you? Yes, as you guessed, the Turkish ambassador to Japan told like this later. We just paid your kindness for the shipwreck of El Turo 95 years ago. Isn't it a heartwarming story, isn't it? Gratitude and kindness saved human lives, both Japanese and Turkish. Gratitude and kindness are essential, crucial, and vital for human beings. We have an old proverb in Japan like this. Do good for others is good you do yourself. It is not right attitude to do kindness for others to expect gratitude in return. I don't think it is not real kindness. The real kindness should be done from bottom of your heart. And the real kindness pay back to you the real gratitude. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Ms. Noriko Tanami, for giving us such a great speech of kindness and gratitude, and how it has saved human lives, how the Japanese have fed Turkish people and saved them, and in return, how Turkish aeroplanes have saved the Japanese life. It was a great speech. Now I would invite our third speaker, Ms. Angela Ledsbury. Ms. Angela Ledsbury teaches English and Business English online and gives workshops. Her books include Wedding Speeches and Toast, Who Said What When, forthcoming ebook, Improve Your English with Angela. You can see her books and blogs online, and you can look at her blog Travel with Angela Ledsbury /blogspot.com. Now I would like to invite the evaluator, Joan de Souza, to give the objective of her speech. Joan de Souza. We can't hear you.
Okay. Sorry, Eva is going to evaluate Alicia. I'm sorry, this one, Angela, not me. Yeah.
Eva. Okay, so we would like to invite Eva to give the objective of the speech. Yes.
Sorry, John has to leave at 11, so we need to get another evaluator to evaluate Angela's speech. Can anyone in the audience like to evaluate Angela's speech?
Sorry about that. Huh?
It's okay, no worries. Edward? Richard, would you like to evaluate Angela's speech?
Don't think it's convenient for him.
Oh, okay.
Because usually he will be outside. Yeah.
Edward.
Corey. Then like that, she got all the roles already.
I never done it before.
Oh, okay.
So
Maybe not
that's
this
why
time.
you should try it out.
President?
VPE.
Okay, I will evaluate her speech. Just give me a minute. All right. Our speaker, Toastmaster Angela Lansbury, will be speaking on how to be seen as a saint. Simply be reliable. And she is doing a level 5 demonstrating expertise. So back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Now I would like to call upon Mr. Angela Lansbury. Her speech topic is how to be seen as a saint simply by reliable leadership level 5 demonstrating expertise. Now I'd like to call upon Mrs. Angela Lansbury to come on the stage. Miss Angela.
Before I start, I need screen sharing. Could the host please allow that? Because I have some slides.
Angela, what is your timing? 8 to 10 minutes?
No, 18 to 22. Can you see these slides now?
Yes, we can see.
The first slide. Let me know when you're ready.
Angela, you can start.
Okay, lovely, thank you. Good evening if you are in Singapore. Good afternoon if you're in London. I'm Angela Lansbury and I'm doing Pathway Dynamic Leadership Level 5 on how to be seen as a saint, simply be reliable. I'm very glad to be here with our esteemed president, our VP Alicia, because they are some of the most reliable people. They are always here at the meeting. And I think you would all agree with that. Now, I have several famous quotations that I think are always relevant to you. Woody Allen, the film director, said, 80% of success in life is just showing up. And here we have a picture of Woody Allen and a statue of him as a reminder to local people and to you and to me. Showing up is something that we find relevant all the time in business. And we also find it's relevant in weddings. You have the bride and groom and the person officiating have to show up. It applies in love as well, in dates. Many of us have had the experience of turning up, waiting for somebody, standing on a corner, and they are late or they simply haven't turned up and you don't know what's happening. It's very stressful. The important thing is to be reliable, to arrive in advance and then arrive at the right time. When I was a teacher, teaching at home as a home tutor, I remember very well having Japanese and Korean students who were always on time. I could watch from my window and see the car arrive outside 5 minutes early. 1 minute early, I heard the footsteps coming up the drive, and exactly on time, there was a knock at the door. And there was my pupil. At the end of the hour, 5 minutes before the end, I knew that the mother would be collecting her child. So I would have planned to end my lesson 5 minutes earlier and to have got the homework set and to have handed all the books on the table back to the pupil, so that when the knock on the door came on the hour, she was ready to stand up and leave. That was a wonderful experience. And I think perhaps in many cases, it is the best people who are exported from Japan and Korea to London, England, to work in companies over here. And you may have found that in many parts of the world, the best Chinese people are exported, the best Indian people are exported. And we have found them very successful when we've imported these people to England and to Singapore. I will now move on. I will be prudent and tell you about planning. You've seen about planning for something simple like a lesson. It was planned by my pupil and their parents, and it was planned by me for the end of the lesson. Benjamin Franklin, the founding father of America, said 2 or 3 important things which all Americans know. One was hope for the best, but plan for the worst. This is a very good principle. When I was single and in my 20s, I often went to charity fundraising groups, and they would plan a summer barbecue. And one of the things they always did was think, what will happen if it rains? We don't want to give the money back. We don't want to disappoint the people. We don't want to spoil the food. What are we going to do? And they always had a plan B. If it rains, such and such a room is ready. The room for plan B will be ready with the chairs. It will be ready with the table. We will have things that have to be moved quickly near the door to be brought in fast if it rains. We will have the person who makes the decision near the door. Everything was timed and planned exactly. At the time, I thought it was rather boring. However, looking back on it, it was a very good lesson. In a club, I have found it very good to have a backup plan. You have a backup speaker in a club. Sometimes you have 4 speakers, or you have 3 and 1 is a backup speaker. Then if somebody drops out, you still have 3 speakers and you can do voting. In a contest, it's also useful to have a plan. What was done at one of the area contests, we were all emailed by the contest chair, who said to us, you are the second person, you are not the champion, you are the first runner-up. Just in case there is a problem, such as we lose the internet connection, or worst comes to the worst, the person falls ill, then you must be the backup, but we want to have your form filled in advance, so there's no delay on the day. We don't keep the audience waiting. We can simply say, sorry to tell you that so-and-so cannot make it or cannot be heard. However, here is our backup speaker. And without delay, the backup speaker comes on to represent their club at the contest. Now let's look at weddings. This year, I was mother of the groom and we organized a wedding. And in my mind, I was constantly going through all the things that could go wrong and what you had to do. You may say, what could go wrong? It's all planned. Everybody is experienced. The wedding organizer is experienced. The bride, if she's marrying a second time, is experienced. The bride's mother has organized her own wedding years earlier. She is experienced. The people organizing the food, they are experienced. Well, you all know what happened with COVID-19. The numbers who we were allowed to invite went down and down and down and down, from 100 with maybe 120 because we had some spares, down to 50, and then finally down to 35. And then the reception venue was changed. Everything you could think of. Do you remember Murphy's Law? Anything that can go wrong will do so. Fortunately, other things did not go wrong. What did go right? The bride and the groom turned up. Of course you say, well, of course they would. It doesn't always happen. I was a witness at a wedding in America on a cruise ship when I was a travel writer. And the bride turned up with her parents, the groom's parents turned up, the ship's horn went off, boom, no groom. The ship's horn went off again, boom, boom, no groom. The ship's horn went off again, boom, 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 and the ship drew away with no groom. So the bride didn't have her wedding and I could not be a witness. Now I was okay because they had plan B. I went to be a witness at a different wedding. They had about 3 or 4 on this ship. It was one of the things they did. On a 4-day cruise, people booked a wedding celebration at sea and you sit and have all the food laid out for you for 3 days. But I think back to the poor bride who never saw the groom. He was not reliable. He did not turn up. There have been other cases where the bride did not turn up. I read about one in America where the bride nearly missed her own wedding because she didn't have a plan B. She was thirsty. It was a hot day. So she stopped at a station, a petrol station, what we would in England call the garage, to buy some Coca-Cola. While she was out, what happened? A passing hooligan decided to go joyriding and jumped into the driver's seat. You are always told don't leave the key in the lock when you stop at a garage. The key was in the lock. He got in ready to go. The bride came back, got in the back and said, stop, stop, stop. Of course he didn't stop. Please, please, let us off at our church. We must have our wedding. He let them off at the church. They were 5 minutes late because he'd gone all the way around before they persuaded him to take them there. So there was a case of a bride. If she'd had the drinks ready with them, they would not have had that trouble. I went on a press trip round America and the organizer had a big bag with everything in it. She had drinks, she had postage stamps, she had postcards, she had medication. Anything we wanted on the trip, the coach did not stop. It did not need to stop because she had prepared. Now, an exam at school or university, you have to turn up. If you don't turn up, you cannot get the marks, not even a few marks. On a date, you have to turn up. You could turn up and find it better than you expected, so always turn up. Benjamin Franklin said, a place for everything, everything in its place. Murphy's Law says whatever can go wrong will do so. It applies to work, to plumbers, to interviews, to conferences. And finally, follow through with feedback. Now I want some quick feedback. I see no sign from the timer, so I would like some feedback from the timer. How am I doing for time?
12 minutes and 15 seconds.
Good, so I have time. I would like to ask now, does anybody have any questions for me? Think about the questions. Raise your hand if you have a question. I can't see the chat box because I'm looking at the slides. I will tell you about something that happened at the wedding while you're thinking of any questions. I was standing up and it was a hot day. We couldn't have the air conditioning on because of COVID-19. It was a local regulation that in case germs could be passed around in the air conditioning, it had to be off. The room got hotter and hotter, and I stood up for 45 minutes while the audience was all sitting down, and eventually I started swaying. Now, if you were in a regular church, synagogue, or meeting hall, you would have chairs and you would have probably benches, but I had no chair. No one had thought of that. When I started swaying and falling sideways, my husband and the groom grabbed hold of me at both sides, and then the bride's brother ran forward with a chair, which he put behind me. Somebody else fetched me some water. I took several swigs of water. I was simply dehydrated from the heat. And a few minutes later, I recovered. If we'd had the chair, if I'd thought to have the water first, all would have gone well. So you have to plan for everything. Every day, 101 things go wrong because you don't plan. Let me show you what I have in my handbag. My door keys are attached to a string. I got fed up with constantly losing my door keys, standing on the doorstep in the rain. And then one day I remembered that years ago I had door keys on a ribbon in a handbag. So I got hold of the ribbon. You can tie on the ribbon to any kind of loop attached to your bag, or you can sew it on, or you can add it with a safety pin. And there are your keys, instantly available. Other little tips for you. Your glasses. Where are your glasses? You can take a piece of white paper and draw glasses and put your glasses down on white paper, and then you will always be able to find them. Work out the things which you do wrong every day, simple little things, and you will transform your life. And then you won't waste time looking for things. You will turn up and you will be the reliable person like Willie and like Alicia. A quick reminder, Murphy's Law says, whatever can go wrong will do so. But if you are prudent and have a plan, as much as possible will go right. I had a wonderful year, a wonderful wedding, and I'm working through a wonderful time at Toastmasters. I wish you the best of luck. And if you need any help with anything, come to me. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Angela, giving us such a good information, useful tips of how to find things and how to transform our lives. Also letting us know that 80% of success depends on showing up. It's relevant in business and wedding, and to be prudent and hope for the best and plan for the worst, giving us such a good stories. Thank you. Now we would like to go on break, or we would like to invite the evaluator. Now we would like to go on break for 10 minutes. Or first we'll go for the polls. Let's do the polling now. Let's take 1-2 minutes and do the polling now. So Nariko Tanami is 43%, Angela Ledsbury Is it done? Should we, now we will announce our best speaker for today.
Madam Toastmaster of the Day, it's time for another 10-minute break.
Okay. So we will take another 10 minutes break now.
Now we enter the last segment of our meeting, evaluation. Well, okay, let us welcome the first evaluator, Thomas Cher, who is an international speaker who have very good vocal quality that can reach to the sky. Let us welcome Thomas Cher to evaluate Kana's speech.
All right, amazing day, ladies and gentlemen. So today, Kanan shared with us about problems and miracles. And he is certainly a miracle because he showed all of us how someone who does not have English as his first language is still able to speak well through dedication and practice. I'll split my evaluation into two parts, commendations and recommendations. So what did Kanan did excellently? Firstly, it was his overflowing confidence and conviction. We could feel it from his vocal variety, from his confidence, from his resounding and refreshing voice. And this is very important because when we deliver a message, we want to be confident so that people feel assured and affirmed by what we say, and he truly practiced that. Secondly, it is his storytelling structure. He shared with us stories after stories after stories to bring across the message that problems are all about perspective and we should appreciate what we have. So be it the story about Rapunzel, the story about the lady at the dress, or the stories about the villagers, it all boils down to that similar message. And facts tells and stories sell. By using stories, he's able to sell across the idea more effectively because we understand the context of the message behind each of these stories. And of course, not to forget, he have a very powerful call to action at the end. And that is truly, don't compare with others, but to appreciate what we have and don't just focus on the problems. Now, I would love to provide some recommendations so that Kanan will be even a greater miracle than he already is. So, stories are just like eating buffet. First few plates, we feel amazing. But after that, we start to get bloated, and even more, we start to have constipation. So what I would encourage Kanan to do is to cut down on the number of stories. Perhaps just focus on one story and build it up even more, right? He could do more character development. He could do the dialogues between the characters. He could add in more details in that story so that our focus will not be diverted on all the different stories, but just that singular story to bring across a powerful and impactful message. Secondly, I also encourage Kanan to share with us more about the context of when we always emphasize on the problems. Ladies and gentlemen, be it at work, in a relationship, or even in Toastmasters itself, do not just focus on the problems or the challenges or be so frustrated over DC points or membership or educational progress, but rather appreciate what we already have. And that is how we can live life to the fullest. So in summary, I would love to congratulate Kanan, although he's not here with us, but I know he will look at the recording because he's such an earnest learner. And that is Kanan, you really did very well because you are a confident and convincing speaker, amazing storytelling format, and a strong call to action. Consider to streamline the number of stories, share with us the context of the problems, and I'm sure you will be an even more spectacular speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas Chow, for his wonderful evaluation of Kanan's speech. Let us welcome the next evaluator, Ahmad Najuzi, who is from Indonesia, who will evaluate Noriko's speech. Ahmad.
Thank you, Toastmaster Willie. Noriko, congratulations for the second speech. I imagine I attended history class to listen to amazing story on kindness and gratitude from Japan and Turkey people. This story occurred almost 1 century ago, and you are like a history teacher. You send a message the universal value, kindness and gratitude will be needed in our life forever. Your speech content was well organized and well structured. You integrated numerous sign items into your speech, like the first story, second story. The audience will be able to follow your speech with crystal clear clarity. I not when your speech had a strong content, I felt that vocal variety and body gesture was not apparent. You mentioned a sad and happy moment or dramatic moment in similar tone in your story. The audience might not know what your expression in the different moment of your story. I encourage you to use vocal variety in the dialogue and body gesture to improve an impression of your story for the audience. For example, you can use your hand and other tool to show critical moment in the Iran and Iraq war story, and you can use the vocal variety and the dialogue between Japan and Turkey diplomat in the story. This will improve the audience with a strong impression and to learn from your story and make your story speech more educational. Overall, I like your story. You use the well structured, and I hope you will improve your speech in the future. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Willie Low.
Willie, you're muted.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ahmad, for his wonderful evaluation on Noriko. Let us go to the next evaluator, who is the BPE of Education, Alicia Cha. She's a happy-go-lucky person who enjoys life, aims to live to the moments, create memories, and enjoy the journey more than the destination. Over to you, Alicia Chan.
Thank you. Toastmaster of the day, Billy Low. Very good evening to club president, to members, guests, and especially to Toastmaster Angela Lansbury. Congratulations on delivering this level 5 speech. Today, I'll evaluate Angela based on whether she has demonstrated expertise. Yes, she has definitely demonstrated expertise. Why do I say so? Because she has shown her credibility, and her credibility has been shown in the topic she has chosen, the topic of how to be seen as a saint, simply be reliable. As everyone knows, reliability is a very rare commodity these days. It's very difficult to find reliable persons. And it was good that she mentioned that about reliable persons at the introduction, about VPE, Alicia Chia, and Club President Willie Low as being reliable persons that show up every time. And therefore, this became the core part of her speech, where she talked about Woody Allen, that 80% of success is just showing up. Now, she has chosen to bridge the gap with her audience with 3 stories that are very relatable. And all her stories come from her personal experience, her teaching experience in school, the wedding that her son got married, and even her Toastmasters experience. All these stories are the audience can easily resonate with her because it's everyday things that happen. And she was also able to show that on the flip side of reliability, the flip side of reliability is you need to do planning, because anything bad can happen, will happen, according to Murphy's Law. The other thing that made her very expert, that showed her expertise, was her ability to engage the audience. On top of the stories, she also used very good vocal variety in the sense of when she used the quotations, what could go wrong? Quotation by Benjamin Franklin. Hope for the best and plan for the worst. She spoke in a very exciting manner and engaging manner. And of course, she used her props to show us tips, to show the audience tips on how to work out problems. Problems are the way to get more reliable. From problems, you can find solutions. Now, on the other side, that Angela could do better was, this is a level 5 speech demonstrating expertise, which supposed to be 18 to 22 minutes, but she only spoke for 16 minutes. So she could better manage her time by getting back to the part where she asked the audience question. That could fill up the time slot, and she could easily then meet the required time. So all in all, Angela, I enjoyed your speech very much. It's very interesting, showing us the flip side of reliability and being prudent, and helping all of us to be more reliable, which is a rare commodity. So I hope to hear from you in the next speech. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alicia, for her dynamic evaluation of Angela. Can I have the timer's report? All qualified. So you all can do your voting. I will leave it off for 2 minutes. Okay, all have voted. I will end polling now. Okay, the next segment we have the R counter report. Toastmaster Corey. Can I have
Thank you.
the R counter report?
Thank you, Toastmaster Willie. Happy to report for tonight, all the speakers in general has been already speak prudently. However, there is some notes, just a little notes. Asmina, there is a 2A. Yusuf, there is 2 Angela, so there is 2A and Libak, Kana, there is 2 repeats. Yeah, that's all the report for tonight. Very little notes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Corey, for her valuable R counter report. Let us go to the most important person, the grammarian, Toastmaster Lee. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, Club President, Distinguished Toastmaster Willie Law. My role tonight as the grammarian was to note the effective and ineffective use of the English language as well as word of the day. I would like to emphasize I am not here to pick on your language because I understand a lot of us are from countries where English is not our first spoken language. What I would aim to do tonight is to help you improve your command of the English language. That's through correct usage, correcting your grammatical errors, as well as giving you some tips on rhetorical devices that you can use. I would like now to I would like to share now the screen. If you can see my slides. Prudent was the word of the day. Prudent meant it's an adjective meaning acting with care and showing thought for the future. Another context to use prudent is sensible and careful when making judgments and decisions whilst avoiding unnecessary risks. These were the people who used the word of the day today. And again, my apologies if I have missed you because it's very difficult to multitask, as you can appreciate. Yeah. So congratulations to everyone who have used the word of the day. Thomas has 3 because he had 2 in the chat and he spoke prudent once. These are some of the expressions where it could have been expressed in a better way. And again, I would let you read these and not read it out to you. You can always come back to the recording for more details or come to me if you want to find out more details. Some of the key things is just, let's say, for example, I'll pick one, which is the last one. Toastmasters or Toastmasters International as an organization is Toastmasters with an S. But if you are referring to a single member, then it's Toastmaster. So just be mindful of that. And again, it's the 2, 4, for example, thanks for their kindness. So it's thanks to their kindness, and then something happened. Okay. Pronunciation, again, I'm not nitpicking, but this is just to help with your English pronunciation. Someone said mine objective. the correct pronunciation is main objective. Milestones, it's milestones. Next year, please make sure you pronounce the X. Next year, sorry. Audience is audience. Gesture is gesture. And dialogue is dialogue, for example. Okay. Again, some nice expressions. I love particularly the last two. There is nothing more precious than the gift of laughter. It is the best gift that you can give anyone. Sorry, again, I can't type. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. And they smile, they laugh, they will never forget how you make them feel. These are, again, other expressions. I missed that great opportunity. I should have planned better by Kanan. Heartwarming stories of gratitude and kindness by Noriko. Next, I would like to take you through some of the rhetorical devices that I found some of the members that have been used. For example, and philosophy by Kanan. Anaphora means that you start quotes with the same words. For example, here, if we have, and he had a few of the if we have. Epistrophe means you end the same, like an and. If you recall during his speech, he said, if we have something, like an and. If we have something, like an and. So if you have anaphora and epistrophe together, it becomes simplose. Well done, Kanan. Quotations. Again, this is not nitpicking, but congratulations at CJ. He quoted the authors or speakers like Maya Angelou and Lorenzo Snow. It's okay to paraphrase as long as you quote the speaker or the author. So the ones in red are the actual quotes. The ones in black are the paraphrase. Angela, she had the most quotations tonight. What I would like to suggest again for everyone is you need to demonstrate your credibility and your integrity as a researcher. And therefore, you need to make sure you quote your sources and quote them correctly. The second one that I found, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. According to Angela, Alicia quoted this in her evaluation. It was quoted by Benjamin Franklin. But when I consulted Dr. Google, I couldn't find anything by Benjamin Franklin on this. But I found the three that I've put there. Okay? So please just be careful. We need to demonstrate our integrity as a researcher. And again, Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And it was paraphrased by Angela and mentioned by Alicia in her evaluation as well. And the last quotation, a place for everything, comma, everything in its place, was the actual quote by Benjamin Franklin. Angela paraphrased it, a place for everything and everything in its place. Alliterations. Okay, now I'll come to rhetorical devices. Thomas is the king of alliterations, assured and affirmed, spectacular speaker. Kanan said enthusiastic evaluation. And then Ahmad, well done, crystal clear clarity. Rhyme, facts tell and stories sell by Thomas. And the rest of it, I didn't find anything, but I will encourage you. These are some of the rhetorical devices that you may like to incorporate into your speeches to make your speeches more powerful. And I would like to end with the references. And that concludes my grammarian's report. If anyone would like any further details, please don't hesitate to contact me. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Diwali, for her detailed lavish evaluation. Okay, can I have a round roll? The best table topic speaker go to Lailah Lee. Toastmaster. The best prepared speaker go to Noriko for Japan. And the best evaluator is none other than our international speaker, Thomas Chen. Three hours of the chapter meeting or 4 hours was quoted by many Toastmasters as heavy too long. Or even a 2 hours meeting is just nice for most clubs. Singapore International Dynamic Speaker, why we have 3 speakers? Because we want to develop people speaking capability, especially within on the field. That's why we give more people chances to speak. Many of us have been with me for the last 365 days, and we still have many more years to come. We can see the club has also seen some more potential leader that is upcoming in the next 8 months, because where Toastmasters have a deadline where leaders are made. So fellow Toastmasters, you must be passive. So you must be active, dynamic, and vibrant, and engage the audience so that we can know that you have benefits for the Toastmaster journey that you have. Whether you are a speak member or you are a leader, because Toastmasters have given us the opportunity to make a mistake and move on and learn from mistake, and then be a better leader or a better speaker in the near future. So, do you guys enjoy the meeting tonight? If you enjoy, please use a reaction.
Yes.
Okay, so I declare we are just a few minutes away to midnight. We are almost 3 hours today. So I declare the meeting closed, and I will hand over to Alicia for her rose taker.